And what's going on, you guys? What is going on? What is going on? This is your boy, Scotty by Nature TV, and we're here for a brand new episode of Yes for the Mess, where we talk about celebrity gossip, hot topics, and all things reality TV based. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful Thursday, and I intend on doing the exact same thing. I feel good right now, y'all. I got my little haircut. Y'all know I feel like a bad one when I feel like a baddie when I get my hair cut. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. I really do. And this is not a night shift live. It was originally gonna be one, but I decided to change my mind like Keisha Cole. Okay. I decided to do that and just decide that I'm gonna give it to y'all a little early. And on top of that, I'm tired and I don't want to be up all night. So this live is mainly about Armon's video from last night. I didn't get a chance to cover it last night because I already had another live set up already. So I had to go ahead and do that one first, and then come back and do this one. Now I saw some of you guys in the comments right before I clicked my button, and some of y'all was basically saying that that Funky has responded on his live from tonight. And can I add it to this live? Well, I haven't seen Funky's live because I rewatched Armon's live up until he got to the phone call with Claudia because I didn't really care too much to see that part again. But I watched Armon's video again so I can take notes, so I can be pretty correct on what I saw. And not to mention, once y'all told me that in the comments, I said, well, after this live is over, what I can do is make a separate video about Funky responding, and I can put it out in the morning before I go to work. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. So y'all know that even with me doing all this other shit that I'm doing, I'm still trying to give y'all the content as much as possible. And I see it's already over 100 of y'all already up in here already. And I definitely appreciate that. Y'all know I do. And it's not even 5 minutes yet. But before we get started, let me let you guys know what we got coming up, okay? Let's see. What we got. Now, Saturday is Young, Fresh, and New, and it airs at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, and it will be featuring LTV production. So make sure you guys get into that. Also on Saturday, I know that Bando is shooting his music video for Run It Back on Saturday. I'm still going to promote this as a thing that's going to happen Saturday night. But when we talk later, I'm going to ask him if he's still going to be able to do the show. Because if he's not able to do the show due to the video shoot, then we can cancel it. But as of right now, Yes for the Music will be airing on Saturday night at the same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And then Who Was Wrong airs on Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, featuring Schoolboy. Okay? And you just might get a story time with Scotty by Nature TV on Sunday night, as you guys did last Sunday. You just might. Okay. Now, that's all that we got set up. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the things now because we're at the 5-minute mark, and I see a lot of y'all are in here. And let me let y'all know, I got my notes in my phone. Let me go ahead and pull these notes out, baby. Let me tell y'all, these are my notes. I got 34 notes written down on this iPhone. Okay, 34 notes. So we're going to go ahead and get into things right now. So let's get it started. I'm going to read down the notes, give you my opinions as we go. Y'all know how I do. So let's get into it, y'all. Now, I want to start it off by saying, everybody has a right to respond if they're being called out, right? Everybody has the right to respond. Thank you for your super chat. Love you too. Everybody has a right to respond when they're being called, right? Funky did this interview with Carlos King. He said his piece about TGIF, and he said his piece about how he felt about Armon and how disappointed he was in Armon. Now, I want to say this here. People have been whacking Armon for the last few months since TGIF has collapsed. I can honestly say that I'm not one of the ones that have. I never felt like I never blame. If you watch my videos, because I have covered TGIF quite a bit. If you watch my videos, you do know that I have not blamed Armon for the show falling apart. I always felt like Al was the silent killer in all of this. I've always felt that way. I never felt like it was Armand's fault. Do I feel like all three played a part? Absolutely. But did I think that Al was pretty much the quiet assassin in the background, having other people doing his dirty work? I actually have. And I said that many times. And I, pretty much said everything that I need to say about everybody involved in the situation, if you ask me. But I never felt like Armand was the sole reason for this stuff happening. That's number one. Number two, Armon has a right to respond. He does. And I know that when he did respond, a lot of people felt that he only proved Funky right. And that is what I was afraid of, right? Because when I first found out that Armon was going to do a video, that he was going to respond and all those things, if you watch Armon, and if you follow Armon the same way I do, you know how he gives it up when he feels slighted, when he feels betrayed, when he feels like you playing in his face, or when he feels gaslighted by an individual. You know what I mean? Y'all know how he give it up, right? So because we all know how he gives it up, I was afraid that because he gives it up like that, he was going to play into what everybody's already thinking. But he ain't doing nothing but proving Funky Dineva right. He ain't doing nothing but proving Funky Dineva right. That's what I was afraid of. Because at the end of the day, he got every right to respond. And out of everybody with the TGIF shit, Claudia has told her story. Al has said certain things. And now Funky is saying certain things. And Armon has not said a word. Now, that's one thing I can say before I even get into the notes. Armon had not spoken out about what really happened with TGIF before he did this video. Now, when I was watching Funky's interview with Carlos King, I did agree with a lot of what Funky said, but that's mainly because that's the only side we heard. So a lot of what he said made sense to me at the time. But then when you hear Armon's side of the story, now you understand why Armon felt some type of way and why he responded the way that he did and why he felt like his face was being played in. That's why it's always smart to hear everybody's side. Now, there was, like I said, I agree with a lot of what Funky said. However, I even said while he's sitting up here talking about, and I don't know if y'all remember me saying that because I said that towards the end of the video, but I did say this at the end of the video though. It's funny how he's talking about Armon's actions and how he roasted Al and all of those things, but yet you set your ass on your platform and you was talking shit about Kiki, a whole dead woman, and you had no business saying that shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things that Funky Dineva have said and done that can be called tasteful and tactless and ridiculous and all of those things. Y'all know that because I call it out all the time over here, right? So I said all that to preface what we're about to talk about now. So let's get into it. Let's get our notes out. So he started it off by saying he honestly doesn't want anything to do with content creators. He doesn't want friendships. He doesn't want mentorships. He doesn't want mentees. He doesn't want anything. He stated he does not want any content creator friendships. He doesn't want any mentorships. He doesn't want no mentees. He doesn't want anything from any content creators. He is a lead. If you work in a group with him, he likes the attention. He's going to attract the attention. He's a lead. He's not a supporting character. He's a lead. And at some point, if I'm working in a group, I'm going to have to go off and do my own thing because my light is going to shine. His words, not mine. Now, when he said that, there are some people, I'm not going to lie, there are some people that ask me, well, how do you feel about Armon saying he don't want no content creator friendships or anything like that, being as you are a person that publicly shows him love and that you are a person that have interviewed him and you are a person that, you know, gives him his tens all the time. I don't feel no type of way about that, honestly. I mean, I don't, because me and Armand don't have a relationship. We're not friends. And I understood that. I steer clear of that because I already know how he is and how he gets down. He doesn't want to be friends with content creators because he feels like that shit can be tricky, and absolutely it can be. I was friends with a content creator many moons ago and it didn't work out. Not needless to say, every content creator is not the same at all. They're not the same, but there are some that are like that. It can be tricky sometimes when you are friends with a content creator. So I never felt any kind of way. And even when he gave me the interview, I was gracious for that. I appreciated that. It happened at the time when my friend was killed. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, because we did the interview, people thought that because we did the interview, that meant that we were friends. We're not friends, but I think there's a respect level there because he has given me my tens and I've given him his. It's a respect thing, but we're not friends and it's okay. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel no type of way about that. Like, he has a right to do that. You know, he has a right to feel however he wants. He has a right to move however he wants because he has to protect himself. So when I first heard that, it's all based on the things that he's going through because he has gone through things with other content creators. I mean, you know, we seen it with Tasha K. We seen it with, you know, other content creators that I'm not going to name. But, you know, we all know the Tasha K thing because it still goes on today. So I get that. You know, I honestly feel that. That's why I never felt any way about that. Everybody has a right to feel however they want. You know, my friendly ass just don't mind having friendships with the content creators. It's just me. But I do understand that Scotty Child, I didn't say he was talking about. I didn't say he was talking about me. What are you talking about? Did you hear anything I just said? Anyway, Armand says that he has a right to give his opinion since everyone else is telling their side of the story. Now, when he said that, I was like, you know what? He got every right. He got every right. Claudia did go on Carlos King and tell her side of the story. Okay. She did. When Funky came up there, he told his side of the story and spoke on Armon quite a few times. And then not only that, the content creators, including myself, are making money talking about this whole thing. So yeah, he got every right to. He got every right to respond all day. He felt like Funky could have called him. Now, I feel that too. If you have a relationship or a rapport with me and you feel in a way about the way I handle things and you feel in a way about, well, hold on, my bad then, you know, it's difficult when you're reading things. So my bad. But if you have a relationship with a person, you should call them. And if you know you about to do this interview and you know that you going on a Carlos King interview and you already know that Carlos King gonna ask you specific questions. You already know he gonna ask me. You already know he gonna ask you about TGIF and how do you feel about TGIF and how do you feel about the things that have went down with TGIF. If you already know that, then you need to call me and let me know that you finna do this interview so I would not be blindsided by this whole thing. You feel what I'm saying? I won't be blindsided, you know? And I feel that. You know what I'm saying? I feel that all the way. Cause this is someone that Armand looked up to. You know what I'm saying? So I get that part. You know, I get it. Let's see. What's next? When Funky Dineva said that he needs to mature, that bothered Armon. That bothered him all the way when he said what he said about him needing to mature. And my thing is, if he needs to mature, so do you. Because there's a lot of things that Funky Dineva has said that's not deemed as mature. The way he went in on Mel, the way he went in on Chloe Bailey, the way he went in on Kiki, the way, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the shit that he do would not be considered mature or ethical or right or any of those things. You know what I mean? He says a lot of bullshit that needs to be checked. He says a lot of bullshit. And a lot of people allow it to happen because they feel like, you know, it's Funky Dineva and he can say whatever he wants. He's the king of YouTube, all those things. And I, as a person that actually looks up to him, I call him out all the time. Which kind of goes unnoticed because some people think that a lot of us, especially us LGBT bloggers, they think a lot of us are scared of his ass. And I ain't scared of no damn body. Like, I'm not trying to be in no bullshit with nobody. But, yeah, what is there to be afraid of? Like, I have a right to disagree. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So, no. I feel like a lot of people... don't want to say anything to him about some of the things that he say. If I could be held accountable, then he could be held accountable. And I ain't got nowhere near what he got. But again, I always say this, and it's one of those things where because a person has a fan base, or a person is huge, or a person is this, or a person is that, people are going to go along with what they say. But if you're beneath them or below them and you ain't got the biggest fan base as they do, then they're not gonna hear you. They're gonna go with the popular people, as Tammy Roman would say, the popular people. That's what they're gonna go with. They're not gonna go with what's actually right here. They're not gonna do that. So that's what I've always seen. Now, when Funky is right, he's absolutely correct. You know what I mean? And like I said in my last live that I did about this, I agree wholeheartedly with a lot of the things that he said. But when Armon came in and said what he had said, finally told his side of the story, then a lot of things kind of made sense to me once again. There's two sides to everybody's story. Well, there's actually three sides. Your side, the truth. In the middle somewhere. Okay? Let's continue. Armon, remember in the interview that Funky did with Carlos, Funky didn't even mention that him and Armon were kind of cool. They weren't best friends. They wasn't buddy talk all the time, but they had some form of a rapport because Armon interviewed him a long time ago. But Armon says that he never interviewed Funky. They kicked it. They hung out. So when Armon said that, it made me feel like, in a sense, Funky was trying to downplay how he knew him. And one thing about it, please don't downplay how you know me. Don't downplay how you know me. Don't pretend like, oh, he just interviewed me. Baby, if we kicked it, we kicked it. You know what I'm saying? If we kicked it, we kicked it. You ain't got to sit up here and say, oh, he just interviewed me. It wasn't no biggie. You know, he just interviewed me. Nah, absolutely not. No, if you kicked it with me, just say you kicked it with me. It ain't that deep. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that deep. If we kicked it, we just kicked it, you know? But, you know, I understood that too. Funky Dineva stated in the interview that he gave Armon the law of the land when it came down to the show itself, the production and everything surrounding the show, and how he needs to move going into this new era, new place, new things, new that, right? Armon stated that he did not give him the law of the land unless it was about Claudia. So, in so many words, because this was something that I didn't say on my last live about this, Funky did not speak on his issues with Claudia, and he made it clear when he first left the show that he had issues with her. I wonder why he never talked about his issues with Claudia on the interview. I wonder why he didn't. But okay. Let's see what else is next on my notes. So Armon feels like, even though Funky says that he wanted the show to succeed, Armon feels like Funky never wanted the show to succeed after he left. And my thing about it is, you didn't, like, you can't say you want the show to succeed and then you go live right at the same time as the show so you can prove a damn point, and you do it every week. Every day the show come on, you go live at 8 and 7 or 8 o'clock Eastern time, knowing that that's what time TGIF come on. So if you really want the show to succeed, you could have just left the show, moved on, do whatever, but you didn't have to do all that. Now, your platform, your business, do whatever you want, but I could see why Armon would feel like you did not want the show to succeed, because when you left, you started doing petty shit like going live at the same time as them, taking away the views. And I feel like you knew that you brought your audience over there. You do have a big audience. Everybody knows that. There's no way to deny it. Like, you do have a big audience, and you knew that most of that audience was comprised of the Funky Bunch. You got damn near 500,000 subs. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, you got it. So let's continue. He says, Armon says that Funky never cared for him being on the show, and he never reached out to him until he learned that Claudia didn't like him. Bitch. Bitch. The mess. Okay. So Armon felt like Funky didn't care for him being on the show because he feels like Funky felt as though they were trying to bring in a replica of him. Like they was trying to replace his energy with somebody with similar energy, but that can only be one me and things like that, that type of thing. I even said when TGIF first came to where it was, I always said, I know a lot of people want Dustin to be on this show, but I feel like if Dustin were to come on this show, he would have to replace Al Reynolds. They have a similar vibe. They're very, they're very calm, mild-mannered. I can see him replacing Al. Armon was the perfect person to sit in Funky's spot because they both have that same controversial attitude, controversial opinions, flamboyantly gay in a sense, loud, brash, opinionated, with the I don't give a attitude, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that was needed. They needed another big male, another alpha male energy, and that's what Armon gave. And I felt like, okay, Dustin would be good for this show, but he would be good to replace Al. Because let me tell y'all, y'all know this. I've always said it. I don't like Al. I always felt like he was a bitch ass nigga. I don't like Al at all. I've always said it, and I always felt like Al just needed to shut the hell up most of the time when he would open his mouth. But then some of y'all be in the comments, oh, why you don't like Al? Sound like a personal problem. It ain't a personal problem. I just don't like Al. But I did like my disdain for him really started when they were talking about K Michelle and the whole thing about her suing Mano or something like that. Like that was my start with him, and and he just gave me a coward vibe, and I just don't respect people like him. However, I do think that that's real crazy. That I do think that it's crazy that Funky did not reach out to him until he found out that he didn't like Claudia. And how would Funky find out that Claudia didn't like Armon? Al had to tell him. Al had to tell him because it's already clear as day, and we all know by now that Claudia did not want him on this show because he felt like he disrespects black women. He don't like women, the usual things that they say about people like him or people like myself. We don't like black women, we disrespect them, blah, 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 whatever. You feel what I'm saying? Like that's how, that's what I see. So if, you know what I'm saying? If Claudia said that, and Al and Claudia were already having issues, then 9 times out of 10, Al was the one who went back and told Funky that. And that's why Funky went on and called up Armon because, oh, you don't like this bitch either? Oh, yeah, I'm finna call him so we can talk about her ass, blah, 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 blah. We can talk about her whole ass, blah, blah, blah. And we're all human. People do that sometimes. We're all human. And listen, I ain't got a dog in this fight, okay? I ain't got a dog in this fight. I've interviewed Armon before. I don't know Funky Dineva, but I'm just giving my honest opinion like everybody else is. So don't take this as, oh, he going in. No, I'm giving my opinion like everybody else is. Everybody giving their opinion. I'm just giving mine. But I ain't got no dog in this motherfucker fight. I'm just telling you what I see with my own 2 damn eyes. I'm just saying. I can't. I got to be honest about what I see. So what's next? When he was playing the interview, Funky was basically saying that he felt like he was caught in the middle. So then Armon was like, it's okay. You're justified for feeling like you're caught in the middle. But I'm not justified for feeling like I'm caught in the middle. Like I'm not justified for feeling some type of way. I'm not justified for feeling like I done walked into the lion's den. I done walked into some bullshit that ain't got nothing to do with me and all this other shit. So it's okay for you to feel like you done stepped into some dog shit, but I can't. You feel what I'm saying? Understood that. But it when it comes to Armon, it is like that. And I think a lot of times when it comes to him, Armon be having a lot of great points, but a lot of times people only recognize the way he delivers the point, and it goes back to what Iyanla says: your actions or your delivery diminishes your message. Like you have a whole lot of great points, but the way you deliver your points goes out the window because all they hear is your tone. And once you deliver it with a specific tone, they're not going to hear you. So I think that's where a lot of times where Armon's opinions or his points gets lost in the sauce sometimes because of the way that he delivers it. It may not even be necessarily wrong of what he's saying, but I feel like at the end of it all, he be having good points. It just get lost in translation because of the way he delivers it, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. People hear your tone and not exactly what you're trying to say. He says that Funky was glazing over Al Reynolds' weird shit, and when you really look at it and when you really think about that interview that he did with Carlos, he was kind of just smooth and past everything that Al did because Al is his friend. Like I had to listen to that interview again too, and I listened to both interviews again, the Carlos one and Armon's live. And when you really think about it, Funky definitely was kind of like brushing Al shit to the side. Like he was glazing over Al. Like he knew that Al was doing bullshit, but he just didn't want to call him out because that's his friend. That's the way it looks to me. Al says it's crazy how Funky says that he doesn't know what happened, but he knew little nuggets about him. Right. You said you left the show and you didn't know what was going on in production. But it's clear that you and Al been talking shit because the night of the roast, right after the roast, then that's when Al called you to go the fuck off about what he just said. About what he just said on the live with y'all on TGIF. The first thing you did was call up Funky. So that means you've been calling up Funky after every damn show. Okay? After every show to talk shit about what's been going on. So my thing is that if you knew nuggets about Armon, then you only knew it because Al was crying to you about it. And y'all friends. So it's clear. But let's not act like when we leave a job, we don't know what be going on. Because, baby, when I left Dollar General 7 years ago, I was still didn't know about the shit that was going on. At least the first few months I was there, I knew exactly what was going on. And I wouldn't even work there. I'd get phone calls every other day. Child, you know, such and such got fired. Child, you know, the one that tried to fire you, she done lost her job because you filed that paper against them. All that other shit. You know what I'm saying? I knew what was going on and I wasn't even there. Sometimes when you leave a job, people still keep you informed about what's going on. You might not give a about what's going on, but you know what's going on. You still in the know. And the tea be juicy because you ain't there. And you sometimes you wish that you there. Okay? Period. So Armon was like, Armon pretty much called Funky Dineva out for being messy, a diva, and demanding. He said, it's okay for you to be messy and petty. It's okay for you to be a diva. And it's okay for you to say, I'm not accepting this. I'm not accepting that. I'm not accepting this. I'm not accepting that. It's okay for you to say and do all those things, but it's not okay for me to do it. It's always an exception to the rule, though. You know, some people always say, "Don't do as I do, don't do as I say, or do as I do," or however the saying goes. It's okay for me to do it, but bitch, it ain't okay for you to do it. Don't do what I do. You can't do what I do. That's what a lot of people be feeling, you know, which is unfortunate. So Armon was like, when Funky says that there was a battery in Armon's back, Armon stopped the video and said, I want to know who put the battery in my back. That's what I want to know. Who put the battery? Excuse me. Who put the battery in my back? Who put the battery in my back? And he said it's only okay. The batteries are justified when it's Funky powering the batteries. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's okay for you to put a battery in my back, warm me up and wind me up. But if somebody else put it in my back, it's an issue. Got it. Okay. So then after that, he feels like it was stupid and things like that. You know, Funky said all of them was stupid for, you know, missing out on a check. But Armon says there's a lot of things that Funky does that was stupid. He said it was stupid for him not to know that you can get your health insurance through the SAG thing. And I thought that was tea. Because he said he couldn't even get no damn health insurance through Fox Soul. But Armon said you still could get the insurance through SAG. Okay. I got you. So then he said that Funky is mad because Armon didn't take the bait about Claudia, but he didn't warn him about Al, and that he feels like Funky never cared for him. Now, I don't know if Funky never cared for Armon. I can't say that. I don't know, because all I've ever seen him do was give Armon his tens. Although there was a moment, in my opinion, where he said something like T.S. Madison was offered a job first, let's be clear, but then they gave it to Al, like he was second choice. You feel what I'm saying? And that's kind of backhanded. You know what I mean? Like, I would feel a way if you got to throw it up that, oh, well, first things first, they offered a job to T.S. Madison first, but they just gave to Armon because whatever. You know what I'm saying? I feel some type of way about that. Like, bitch, don't try to downgrade me because they offered to another motherfucker first. Like, don't do that. Don't say that. Like, if you're going to give me my 10s, give me my 10s. If you're going to congratulate me, congratulate the shit out of me. But don't remind me about how somebody else had the job before me. Because then what's the point of bringing that up? You feel what I'm saying? And another thing, too, I know a lot of people don't like Armon. And I know that some people probably going to watch this damn live and make it sound like I'm just all up Armon's ass because I always give him his 10s all the time. But the truth is the damn truth. He had every right to respond to this damn interview. I'm sorry. And he had every right to feel however he felt about Funky and the way he did that damn interview. He had every right to feel that way because, like I said, when Funky did the interview with Carlos, I agree with a lot of what he said. But once you heard Armon say the things that he said, it kind of made sense. It made sense to me. And this was our first time really hearing Armon's side of the story because, let's be real, Armon been getting drugged about this shit since the shit went down. He's been getting blamed left and right. Folks saying that he had a battery being put in his back. All those things, left and right. Everybody been coming at Armon from the very beginning. They just knew he was the reason why the show failed. They just knew he was the reason why it was over with. And when he first got the damn shit, didn't nobody even a lot of folks felt he didn't even deserve it. And there were some people that were waiting for him to get up. And when that roast happened, they just knew they had some. Oh, Armon it up. Oh, I knew he wasn't going to make it. They were already waiting on it. So then he said, before the roast, there was an HR complaint against Al and Joyce before the roast. Okay? So that was actually going on and being done before the roast came about. All right? When the roast happened, they were still under investigation. So the people were doing an investigation right before the roast. Al had spread rumors about Armon, and Joyce didn't do anything about it. There was supposed to be a sit-down meeting in Houston because Joyce wouldn't control Al. That's because at the end of it all, Al had Joyce in his back pocket, so whatever he had to cry and complain about, he knew he could go to her and she'll get the job done on his behalf. Not nobody else's, but on his behalf. Now, if somebody was spreading rumors about Al, then whoever this Joyce lady was, she was going to take care of it. But when it was done to Armon or Claudia, she didn't do shit because she didn't like them. But she fucks with Al, so she protected him, but she didn't protect everybody else. So that made the work environment be what it was, contentious. Period. He said that Funky knew that the show was going down. There were certain things that were certain parts of it, like the lawyers and the law and all those things, whatever that shit he said it was called, that was gone. So once that's gone, you already know that the show was going down. Like, Funky knew that the show was going down before he even left. There was no direction. There was no budget. There was not getting off Zoom. There wasn't going to no studio. There was nothing that they were going to do. And Fox Soul wasn't making no money. So therefore, they wasn't making no money like that for real. And to top it all off, while we were all, including myself, thinking that Armon, no. I'm going too far. Armon says that Funky never wanted the show to make it after he left. We already touched on that. And then Armon said that he originally did not want to do the show. He didn't want to do it at first. But he decided to do it. They thought he was good. He did it. They liked him. They offered him a contract. He didn't want to do it. His mama convinced him to do it, so he said he'll do it for 6 months. As he did the show, thank you, Papa. It was standards and procedures. Thank you. I just knew it was S&P. My dumb ass would have said salt and pepper, but you know it was standards and procedures. But he said he didn't want to do it. His mother convinced him to, and it was just that his mother convinced him to do it because she felt, he felt like that would be good for him. It would be good for his brain and all those things. And he wasn't even making $250K like everybody else was. Armon was actually making $70K. Not 250, but 70. That's all they gave him. That's all they gave him. They didn't give him what they gave him, everybody else. And he said that while he was sitting there on the platform, he was making more money doing the Armon Wiggins show than he did doing Fox Soul. You know what I'm saying? That's what I believe. That's what he said. He said he made more money doing YouTube than he did doing, Fox Soul. And that says a lot for him to be able to do the show, do his own show by himself, get the viewers that he gets by himself with no help of anybody, by himself, and make that kind of money, but go over here to this show, Fox Soul, that is promising, and he could get, some kind of brand or some type of up in his brand by doing this show or whatever. Like, that's what everybody probably thought it was. And to be honest, $70,000, that's what my mama was making when she was working at the post office. As a matter of fact, my mama was making $77,000 before she retired from the post office. That's post office money. And you making that on Fox Soul? He started having to work twice as hard because I know they're not shooting again. I just know they're not shooting again. Two more weeks. Actually 3 more weeks, but anyway, so where was I at? Lord Jesus, that just threw my mind off. I heard somebody shooting. That just threw my mind off. Oh, you probably didn't hear it because the shooting sounds kind of far. It wasn't so close, but I heard it. It was from afar though. I heard it. 70K. That's like post office money. Like I said, like my mama was making like 77K at the post office before she heard herself and retired. Before we got our ass in this slump that we was in. There's another story. But anyway, yeah. So he had to make extra money to make his ends meet. Like, he had just gotten that studio, and TGIF was taking time away from his YouTube channel. He was doing that 5 days out of the week. You know what I mean? Like 5 days out of the week. So he had to do that and work on the Armon Wiggins show at the same time so he can make sure that he made money to make his ends for ends meet. You feel what I'm saying? So that's and that was crazy because I really thought that Armon was gonna be sitting on um a lot more money than what he was already making because he was on Fox Soul, but they fooled me. He thought he did the show because he thought it would be good for Brandon. He thought that he would probably be able to do red carpets, things like that. But it didn't happen that way. When he first came on the show, the first thing that he heard was that Claudia did not want him on the show because he didn't make her safe. And he started getting these anonymous emails and those type of things. So it's kind of like when he first came on, the odds were against him because people didn't want him there. Claudia didn't want him there. Claudia felt like he didn't like women. Claudia did not feel safe around him. And when you hear a woman say that about you, you know, that's automatically going to make people feel like, oh, we don't need to bring him along, or oh no, he needs to go. You know what I mean? Like, how are we going to have him on this show and he's doing this? You know what I'm saying? So no, that wasn't going to work out. So of course he had it hard when he first came. And then he said Joyce started picking on him. And he could tell that Al's energy towards him started to shift once Joyce started picking at him. Like, why are you coming in with a hat? And I was wondering why he wasn't wearing hats anymore, like why he wasn't doing his normal styling anymore. Like he came in on suits and with suits on and shit. Like, you know, it is what it is. So it was crazy. He said that the women didn't like him at first due to Claudia, but then they started to hate Al. Do you blame them? Then, not only that, Armon, in an attempt to continue the show and make the show run smoothly, he apologized to both Claudia and Al for things that he noted he didn't even do, just to make the show work. I'm apologizing to motherfuckers that I didn't even do nothing to, so I can make this work. But the people will say that I'm not mature, I'm not this, I'm not that, but I'm apologizing to people when I didn't even do nothing. I'm apologizing to people and I ain't making nothing but 70K a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. He said he had to go tax exempt just to see money from TGIF. You heard that? He had to do a tax exemption just so he can get money from TGIF. It was that bad. He wasn't even bringing home 10 bands doing TGIF. So he wasn't even making no money. Al told him not to trust Justin and Claudia. He told Armon that they were trying to get rid of Armon and bring in Dustin. And so I can believe that. Because again, they didn't want him there. And it's kind of like, okay, this makes sense too. He said 10 days after he got the job, Al and Claudia were plotting to get him fired. And I believe that as well. He showed the text messages from Claudia to Al. They were definitely plotting to get him off that show. Al told him that he and Al need to get Claudia because she's always making excuses for Black women. You know, she always, you know, would do things and all this other shit as far as women is concerned. Like, she wouldn't let the men make it, but she'll let the women make it. That's how they felt. So Al felt like they needed to get Claudia. He said if they was in person, he would have whooped Al's ass. And then later on, Claudia called in. And after Claudia called in, she pretty much informed everybody that Armon was not the reason why the show went down. Al was doing a whole lot of fugazi shit, all that other stuff. So I didn't even continue to listen no more for the second part when Claudia came in. But I just want to say that at the end of the day, everybody was being messy. Everybody was backstabbing. Everybody was plotting. Everybody was playing a part in this whole thing. Everybody played a part in this whole thing burning down. I think the problem was that fingers were only being pointed at one person, and that was Armon. But not only was the fingers being pointed at Armon, the fingers was also being pointed at Claudia. But everybody felt like Al was innocent in this whole situation because Armon roasted his ass on live TV. That's the reason why they felt that way about Al. They felt like Al was innocent. And I thought I was the only one who felt like he wasn't. Because when I was saying, I don't been more believe that Al is innocent than a man in the motherfucking moon, I know I said that. And when I said that, people were so mad at me. Mad at me because I felt like that man wasn't innocent. I still feel like he not. I still don't feel like he's not. I still don't feel like he's innocent at all. I still feel like he had a lot to do with everything that was going on, which he did. What I will say is that while I'm glad that Armon finally told his side of the story, you know what I mean? While I'm glad that he finally gave his side of the story, I just hate that some people are still going to look at him and say, he proved Funky right due to his reaction. You know what I mean? Because I think that he was triggered because he felt gaslit in a sense. He felt some kind of way about some of the things that Funky was saying. I think it's more so of hurt feelings more than anything because he looked up to Funky and he felt like all this shit that he said, he could have just told him. He could have just had that conversation with him. You know what I mean? That's what I take from it. And Foxhole is cheap. And girl, Foxhole is cheap. That's the only thing I can say about that. The only thing that I feel would be fair is if Carlos would give Armon an interview. You know what I mean? I doubt that he's gonna give him one. I doubt he is. But I still feel like Armon did a lot with their roast. I still feel that way. I still feel like he did a lot with their roast, you know. But I feel like the roast was not the only thing that was not the only thing that got the show where it was. We can all agree that after their roast, there was no way that they could make up or get past that shit with that roast. There was no way that they could. Absolutely no way. Because I kind of felt like after I watched it, while it was entertaining as hell, I felt like, okay, it's over with. They're not getting past this. They're not getting past this at all. They're not. They're not getting past it. So TGIF, as we all know it, is over with. You know what I mean? That's what I was taking from it. But it could be a thing of me being biased because I don't like Al anyway. And I always felt like excuse me, I always felt like he was shit. I'm sorry. Damn. I always felt like he was sneaky and shady as hell. That's how I feel like. But you know, it is what it is. Oops. Carlos won't interview Armon, but another big blogger should. I don't know if he wants to sit down with any more bloggers. I don't know at this point. Because remember what he said at the very beginning about content creators and stuff like that, which I respect. You know, I respect that wholeheartedly. Let me see. I was surprised Funky responded even to apologize. They need to have a phone call at this point. I don't think that's going to work, and I don't think they're ever going to have a phone call. I think that a lot has been said, and that's one of those situations where it's over with. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you said this and said that, there's no way to have a conversation. I know somebody want to have a conversation with me right now, and they already disrespected me already, so I don't want to have no conversation with them. You feel what I'm saying? Like like it's like yeah, we could say that we could all say that they should have a conversation. It's easier said than done because it done got ugly now. So it is what it is, and I will go on record to saying that I could understand how it would come across a certain kind of way um when he talks about other YouTubers and give them their tens, but when it come down to him, even though he gave his tens, he got to say, I need to grow up. You feel what I'm saying? So who knows? Why don't you interview Armon? I already have. I interviewed Armon 11 months ago. I already interviewed him, so. But I don't think that he would want to do one now due to all that. But I'm just gonna say this, and then we're gonna end this because we're approaching an hour, and I was not gonna. I intended on spending no more than an hour on here. I feel like at the end of the day, if you're gonna apologize to somebody, don't insult me with your apology. If you're gonna apologize for making me feel some type of way, be sure to mean your apology. Don't just give me an apology just so you can shade me and do things like that. You feel what I'm saying? And don't gaslight me when you apologize to me. Like, if it's gonna be an apology, it need to be a real one. You feel what I'm saying? But it just goes back to I feel like in this particular situation, nobody has a right to talk about anybody. I feel like if you're gonna say Armon is immature, Funky ain't that mature himself. He got immature ways about himself too. Just like I got immature ways about me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry. Cause ain't nobody innocent. But I'm just telling y'all the damn truth. So you can keep your stand cards and things like that. Don't bring the shit to me. I'm just telling you my opinion. That's all. But and there are some similarities within Armon and Funky. They are most definitely. So ooh, I feel like some people want to argue. Let me see. Funky funny though. See, that's what I be talking about, y'all. Like because somebody is funny, that makes their immaturity okay, but it doesn't make somebody else's immaturity okay just because they're funny. You know? But okay. Mim, stop playing. Stop playing with me, bitch. But anyway, let me go before Mims come up here and say more bullshit, more lies. Y'all, I'm about to go. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. We had over 600 people in here. I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this unbiased commentary. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed it all. And I just want to see what y'all gonna say, and whether you agree or disagree or whatever. I hope you guys do. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. All those things. So, with that being said, this is your boy Scotty by Nature TV. Be sure to like, rate, comment, subscribe, share this video, and also click on the notification bell so you can be notified whenever a video drops. And if you want to follow me on any form of social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and my TikTok will be down below. With that being said, y'all, your boy is up out of here, and I'm going to leave you guys with Bando Kane's Don't Sweat featuring Alana the Blonde.
Gonna shake your ass, booty acting up. Gonna grab your drinks, baby, pass the Dutch. Damn, shorty bad, looking bad as fuck. Don't sweat it, ain't no competition, I said it. Don't exist to the beef, motherfucker, I did it. Pull up, knock your corns like Mario. Couldn't stop me do 100 miles of cardio. Damn. You niggas stay faking, you niggas stay hating, you niggas so basic. You felt the win, so don't test me, nigga. My team leave the weapon, Joe Pesci, nigga. They hate to see me win, so I cause them frustration. Hate to see my name, so I give them penetration. Bro, running this race on you fucking lanes. Spin the block, big bold bitch, tuck your chain. Bam.
Don't sweat, don't sweat, don't sweat, don't sweat, don't sweat.